Hello everyone, my name's Gulch2, and I wanted to make a walkthrough slash tutorial for NecroVision. So I'm going to be going through the most optimal route here. It uses a lot of rifle jumps, so I'll go over that and how that works in the beginning. It is a pretty tricky mechanic, especially the horizontal ones, because it requires specific timing. But there's also a way to, go through the game with the least amount of rifle jumps as well. Meta, for example, who has run on the leaderboards, went through the game with that in mind, trying to avoid as many rifle jumps as possible, just because they are tricky. So if you're looking for an alternative route without the rifle jumps, you can look at Meta's PB. But I'm going to be going through the most optimal route, which is full of these rifle jumps. And I'll explain how they're done. We do have to use 30 FPS in order to get that pretty consistently. So we use Reaver Tuner and MSI Afterburner in order to cap our frame rates at 30 FPS. I'm gonna link the NecroVision Lost Company tutorial down in the description of this video. Aster the Horror Girl made it, and she also included a setup guide for how to cap your frame rate using Reaver Tuner. So I won't be going over that in this tutorial, since that resource is available in the description. So just check the Excel file that Astrid has, and it'll have that Reaver Tuner explanation video there. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I have the my keyboard being reflected on the left-hand side in order so you can get a better understanding of what I'm doing, and I'll explain it as I go through the run as well. Anything for keybinds or controls, these are just my preferences. You definitely want to have quick save and quick load on something accessible. I also just personally like to have jump on scroll wheel. That'll help with a trick in the second chapter. Other than that, I'll just go through these just so you can see what everything here is. These settings I have. HUD, subtitles, just optional, sound, outs, whatever. Videos, I just have everything on a lower textures here. And with that, let's just go ahead and get right into the run. So I'm going to click New Game, hit Recruit, yes. And here we begin. So we're going to press any key to continue. That's going to be a standard to load in each of the levels. We also have 2 cutscenes to skip in the beginning here, so I'm going to press escape twice.
I dreamt someone was telling me not to
and now
wake up
here,
today.
since we have our rifle, we can use this to perform rifle jumps. And to do this, we have 2 different ways of doing them. So one is a horizontal one that'll give us, launch us further in the distance that we're looking. And then we also have a vertical one that we use to jump over things. So the vertical ones are easier to perform because all is required is that you hit the buttons at the same time and that you're also on some flat surface. So there's a bunch of hilly areas here, and you can kind of see like what you can stand on top of at the peak, and you kind of want to be on as like a flat of surface as possible rather than one that's at a decline or an incline. Just helps make the rifle jumps more consistent. And you'll notice me going to specific areas whenever I am performing the rifle jumps in order to get to the most optimal point where I know I can perform them. So in order to do the vertical ones, we're going to switch to 30 FPS. Gonna hold down shift forward, and then we want to press jump and melee at the same time. So I have my melee on V, so I can just press spacebar and V at the same time. So as long as we put them at the same time, we're going to get some vertical height here. So we have to be on the flat ground as well, so we could be doing everything fine, but like this area is tricky in particular because everything is so bumpy. But that's how you do the vertical ones. So all that matters there is just pressing everything at the same time, and the timing itself of the jump doesn't matter. But as we go on to the horizontal jumps, this is where the timing is really important. So what we're going to do is press W, and then immediately after pressing W, this is be on a specific point of the sprint animation. We're going to press jump in melee. So we press W, jump in melee. So you have to do that in really fast timing, like pretty much exactly one after the other, like W, and then directly after that, jump and melee at the same time. So It's a little bit tricky to get the timing down, but this is what we're going to be using to get a lot of distance. And it's going to save a lot of time and make a lot of tricks possible throughout this run. So it took me a long time to get the hang of this, but you can get it down with enough practice. You can also kind of correct some of the rifle jumps. So if I'm going for a long one, I don't get like this, I can press like W at the peak of the jump in order to get more horizontal momentum. So you'll notice me correct some of the mistakes I make, and that's kind of nice because, you know, even if you mess up, you can still kind of recover it a little bit. It doesn't go as far as it would if you got the normal rifle jump, the horizontal one, but even if you correct it, you know, it's still worth it. You still get some distance, so. Okay, so what we're supposed to do here in the beginning of this level, let's pretend like we just started again. We started from over here. So we're gonna run out here and stand around this area since it's flat, and then we're gonna do a rifle jump. And if you mess it up, you can always go for a vertical one. There's an invisible wall here. You see I didn't quite make it over that. But we're going to continue walking our way over here and continue doing rifle jumps towards the end of the mission. And over here is the trigger that we have to walk by and wait for it to exit. And there's another cutscene that we have to skip at the end. So after the end of each of the levels, chapters in this game, you have to skip a cutscene, besides like the last one. But this one has this cutscene you have to skip in the beginning. We're just going to melee this enemy to grab his rifle. It's going to go in our third weapon slot. We're going to use that to break it on this barrier. And we're also going to grab the TNT here for the fight later. So that's really important. You definitely want to grab all 5 TNTs. And we're going to come to this corner here and rifle jump over. Going to do another vertical one. Horizontal, get over here. Come to this area. This flat ground is usually good for me, so I like to set up here and do another rifle jump. And then we're going to do another one over here. And then once we're over here, we want to jump over this and come around the other side of the building.
What's this now? I guess
not. I touch this door, and that's going to spawn in this boss fight with a wizard. We have some zombies that we kind of just ignore here. I like to gather them up and, you know, press Q to drop this TNT, kill some of them. You don't have to, but the main thing we have to do is kill these machine gunners that are spawning in a second here. I'm going to drop one dynamite here, one here, and one here. So 3 in total. We're going to kill all of them and then pick up their machine guns. So these light machine guns are really good. We're just going to reload. And there's going to be some flying manta rays that spawn that we're just going to destroy.
On the ground,
so
in the air, where's a man supposed
after
to
we
hide?
kill these, this boss fight will be over. I'm going to skip at the end, skip that cutscene, and skip again. Now we're on to Chapter 2. So this game has 1 prologue chapter and then 12 chapters in total, so a total of 13. And Chapter 2 is definitely one of the biggest reset points. Has a tricky ways of getting out of bounds here. We don't have access to any rifles, so we can't, you know, rifle jump out of bounds, so we have to get a little bit creative here. But our main objective here is to ignore the boss fight that we're supposed to partake in and get out of bounds and go right to the end. So we're gonna follow this path here. And here is where the boss fight is. Skip this cutscene, turn around, and then here's the building that we want to go to. It looks like this. This little hole in the ceiling here, we're gonna line up with it. Click save. And our objective is to jump on this pole here. I'm gonna jump on this little pole here. We want to land on top of this little piece of metal, and then I always look slightly to the right to try to get through this gap. So it's a little bit tricky, It takes a few attempts most of the time, but you can get it down. It is one of the harder parts of this run. So there, I almost got it, but I usually do just jump, look to the left, and then while spamming jump with the spacebar and mouse wheel, I also look to the right to try to catch myself and jump up there. Just like that, you can get up. Yes. Going to save here. Jump onto this area out of bounds. Jump on this chimney. Oh, or you can fling yourself up. You can either jump on the chimney and jump over here. Sometimes you can get lucky and get a boost to fling yourself up here, but you want to come over here, come to the left, or the right, I'm sorry. Jump on this area here and continue navigating this way out of bounds. We can run along this. Gonna save quick and jump onto this area here. Then I'm gonna jump over here, again over here. And then here we're gonna wanna run in a straight line while jumping. There's gonna be little things we're gonna have to jump over that get in our way. So just gonna continue to jump and sprint. So we make it all the way over here. Then we're gonna save and do another jump onto this. And the opposite side of this red thing here is where the end trigger is, and we have to clip back and bounce here. So I'm gonna save, and while I'm falling, I'm gonna switch 30 FPS and try to push forward and crouch. No, that doesn't work. Okay, so that didn't work, but you can always reload and try that because you want to kind of fall and slip through the cracks while crouching. Crouching helps clip through this little gap here, but I'm gonna run and jump along this wall and try to crouch in. So you can kind of see yourself starting to clip in, getting yourself caught. You need to get the right height and angle. There we go. So I just clip in just like that, and we're just gonna run and jump against this. It's gonna end that level. Press escape again to skip this cutscene. So in the beginning of any level that we're loading into, we actually have the ability to run. So you're gonna see us do this throughout every single chapter that we're able to run out of the gate. So this one we're going to run, hug against this left wall to get out of bounds. Use the speed boost that we get from rubbing against that geometry and just get right out of bounds. So I'm just gonna run forward to the left, and there we go. We're out of bounds just like that. Come over here to this flat ground, do a rifle jump, and then walk my way over here, where we're going to do another rifle jump to the other side of this gap. This flat ground here, it's a good area to do more, so we're going to continue trying to do some rifle jumps. All the way along this left side towards the end of that hill that we're looking at over there. So you can see on the decline hills here, it's a little bit harder. I might be getting the timing wrong, I might be getting it right, but sometimes you just can't get it because of that, because of the ground you're standing on. But we're gonna run up this hill here. Continue doing some rifle jumps. Come up the top of this hill here. You can also just walk up to the hill and then do a standing rifle jump like this in order to get up there. But I just chose to do a horizontal one. We're gonna quick save, line up over here, stand on this flat ground over here, and then do another horizontal jump. So got a vertical one there, that's okay. There we go.
I'm gonna catch up with that bastard Zimmerman.
You have to walk a little bit
Find out
forward
what's
in order
happening
to
here.
load in this
When you do
area.
that,
Some of that was
I gotta get to the
deloaded,
top of
so
that hill.
that's why the screen kind of flashed there. Just going to come over to this area. Now, the areas that we want to get up here, and the areas that are easiest to rifle jump from is this ground right here. Like, you can see where the all of it meets. Like, this area right here is perfect to do a rifle jump. Also, on top of this rock here. This is the flattest grounds that I found. I usually go for this one first because it's closest. But if I don't get it after a few times, I can, you know, you can always go back to the other, go back to the rock. But I'm gonna try to do this. This one's pretty tricky because there's not a lot of ground that you can do it out here. But let's try to do it on the rock here. There we go. Now I'm gonna come up here and do another rifle jump over there. You can also just walk down and run over here, but if you do a rifle jump over here, it activates it automatically.
Okay, you proved
So
your point.
we're going to transition
You're a
into a
strong
boss
guy.
arena here.
Just
You
work
can just
on your
stand and wait for
sensitivity
us
a
to
little.
pull us in.
Girls go crazy for it.
And then we have this little ogre. So we're just going to
You
shoot him.
can't see me. Look, maybe we can just talk this
Try to
thing
block
through.
him because he can sometimes just run down the hallway there. Is he going to do it? He is. This is the worst RNG possible. He can sometimes just bug out and do this. And then obviously you're very far away from the hole. So we're going to kill this golem. The hole breaks down in the middle of the
Now
arena
that
where
was
we
a
can jump
fight.
through.
You got any friends?
But,
I'm
you know,
on a
since he
roll
ran all the way
here.
down here, we're going to lose a bit of time coming all the way back. So this is the worst outcome possible. But sometimes you can get him to stay and stay focused on you. But that just happens sometimes. Alright, so chapter 4. Going to grab this key here and then just touch the door. Just going to transition this little cutscene here.
Must get to the castle. I have to find Zimmerman.
You probably could have guessed it, but we're going to do rifle jumps to go out of bounds again right away. Make our way towards the end of the level. So we're going to do 2 vertical rifle jumps to get over here. And then this ground over here, you can usually do some rifle jumps on. We're going to make our way along this mountainside here. I'm going to try to rifle jump my way over here. Continue walking towards this flat ground area where I'm going to perform another one. You can see there I kind of corrected a vertical jump. I want to try to get on top of these rocks here. Alright. Now from here, we can make our way down to over to this area, this bridge, because we're going to have to activate a switch. Make our way over to the ending area. So there's a little, you see how I rifle jumped over this? If you just try to walk off, there's like a little barrier, invisible wall that'll prevent you from just walking off. So you actually have to jump over it. So it's important to make sure you get a little bit of height just to get over that invisible wall. Now we're going to come over here. You can either do a vertical jump or a horizontal one.
Don't suppose knocking on the door will get me in. Time to make a smashing entrance.
Get in here. We're going to turn off this electric barrier that was blocking our way. Touch this door because there is a trigger to load in this next area somewhere along this bridge.
Bastards.
And if we miss that, we're going to have to, you know, backtrack a bit. So let's see if we hit it. Sometimes you can just miss it. I don't know where it is. This looks like it's good. So we're going to make our way over here. You can look left, and sometimes this building isn't loaded in. That's how you know that, you know, this area wasn't loaded in properly. So if you go to this next area and the screen just turns, you know, blank, that's because you didn't load in the area while you were on that bridge. So you're gonna wanna backtrack. So we're just gonna make our way over here. Come down along the bottom of this hill. Now there's an invisible death barrier here, so we're gonna want to hug along this mountain just high enough to make it over the gap, but not too high. If we go like over this height here, we will automatically die. So we want to make sure that we're high enough to get over this, you know, gate here, but not too high to get killed by that death trigger. Now we're gonna break open this door with our gun. You can rifle jump our way along if you want to. That's just an extra spicy one. We're gonna come over here, hit this checkpoint, run back. Hit this switch to open up this gate so we can grab this item.
Got it.
It's going to allow us to repair the little mech here. So we're going to insert that in the mech and then turn on the switch. So once this cutscene is over, we're going to run into our mech, and this ogre is actually going to wake up as well.
The demons won't protect you.
So we're going to sprint forward
Oh yeah.
and just
Armed
wait for our
and
stamina to refill
dangerous.
before we use all of it again to move forward. So we just have to go across this bridge
You
to the end
boys
of
are
this
starting to annoy
gate here,
me. That's right.
and that ends the
Come
level.
on out.
You have to be in the
I'm
mech,
ready for you now.
so you have to get in. If you get out and try to touch it, you know, just with your person, it won't end the level. So it's going to continue having this ogre push us while
What's
also
wrong with this place?
having our stamina cover and sprint our
Spiders,
way
living
towards the
dead,
end
walking
here.
tanks.
Alright, skip the cutscene, and we're on to Chapter 5. So Chapter 5 is a boss fight with Zimmerman. We start out in a mech, and we actually fight Zimmerman in the mech as well, but we can actually just exit the mech and rifle jump our way towards the boss fight trigger. And when we get there, we'll be back in our mech. So if we were to do it the normal way, we'd just travel all the way down here with our mech, but obviously that will take a long time. It's not as fast because the mech has stamina when, you know, we can just fly along in the map. So much prefer this method of transportation. So we reach the start of this boss fight. We're gonna click escape to skip the cutscene. I'm gonna save here just in case, but we're gonna want to take out these pillars here. The boss you want to shoot this boss down to a certain amount of health. He'll go back towards the middle. That's how you know that he's about to start recharging his health through these pylons here. So I'm gonna pre-fire this with my rocket launcher and then take that one out. There's 3 of those in total, and the faster you take it out, the less health he recovers. So we're going to take out these pillars here to make room for the other pylon that's going to spawn. So once we see he's kind of frozen, that's how we know that he's going to start recovering. Take out that pylon, continue shooting him. He's going to turn to us, we're going to run while he attacks, and take out these pylons. Kill these little pillars so we can expose the pylon.
But you're getting smaller
And
by the
continue
second.
dumping into him. Up. And the other one's going to spawn, so we're going to lob some rockets up. And then shoot once it's available. And now I'm going to run up to the scorpion tank. And just continue shooting it while under it. And that is the first phase of the Zimmerman boss fight. So this is essentially a 3-phase boss fight. The next section is going to be a bit easier for the strat that we have. So So once we fall down here, we're going to wake up, and right in front of us is going to be an LMG. We already have an LMG, but if we pick up this one as well, we're going to have a Kimbo, which is awesome. It does a ton of damage. So we're going to wait for Zimmerman to come down here, and we're going to unload our LMG into him. Do another round. Where is he? Gonna just continue shooting him, so we use our LMG and then switch to our shotgun afterwards to finish him off. You can kill them with all that LMG ammo, but that was a little inaccurate there, so that's my mistake. But we're gonna pick up this Shadow Hand and then make our way to this blue barrier to exit this mission. Again, skip a cutscene using the escape key and move on to chapter 6.
End of the line, huh?
Not yet.
So we have to wait out this little cutscene here, but we're gonna rifle jump exactly where we're looking across this little barrier here. Gonna click save, switch to 30 FPS, and rifle jump across. Come to the middle here and do a vertical jump to get the rest of the way there.
I can give you powers you could never imagine.
And we're gonna rifle jump across here. Maybe.
Just tell me how to get out of here.
And we're gonna want to headshot 2 of these enemies. So those brain dead, you want to get both of them with the
No shit.
rifle right there. It's gonna load up our vampire glove. You can see it's on fire, so we can left click in order to throw the fireball at this barrier and break it open. I'm gonna save over here and do a rifle jump to get over this gap.
Doesn't matter. They won't protect you.
And we're gonna come over here, line up over in this direction, and do another rifle jump to get over that gap. Continue rifle jumping our way along the map. Rifle jumping is the fastest way to get around since it just instantly boosts you forward. So we want to go for those, quite often. Here we're going to line up with this gate, and along the right side we're going to just jump and make our way up there. So you can get through there with a rifle jump, but you can also correct if you don't make it all the way through. We're going to jump down here, do another rifle jump to make it along here, make our way over towards this platform. Rifle jump our way up here, again through this gap, and then hit here. So we can now make our way over to this area, and we're going to try to rifle jump over here. So I'm going to do a rifle jump. This is a bit tricky of an area to do it at, but it is doable. There we are. And I'm gonna land here. You can also just jump along here, but we're going to rifle jump over to this blue orb, and this is the end trigger for the level.
December 11th, 1916. The gas scares me.
So here again in the beginning of this level, we're gonna run forward over straight ahead, and then we're going to rifle jump over this barricade. Continue rifle jumping along towards this area here.
There'll be some kind of altar here.
I'm gonna pick up this ammo just to have it. Save here and rifle jump upwards.
They won't be leading me to heaven.
And we want to try to get through this gap here.
But that's where I need to go.
Just like that. Now we're out of bounds. So we're going to come over to this, line up. This is a pretty precise rifle jump. It's probably one of the harder ones in the game, but we're going to want to go to this area here. There's like an invisible wall, so you need to get pretty narrow where you're jumping, and you want to land over at this area here. So I'm going to try to do a rifle jump here. You can see I was a little bit bad positioning, and I got hit by the wall. So we're going to have to move a little bit over to the right so we don't hit this wall here. So this should be fine. Oh, we got a vertical one. Continue trying, and there we go. So once we get here, we're just going to want to jump around this gap here, continue coming along here. I'm going to save for safety and fall and jump, land over here. Now I'm going to continue hugging this, switch to 30 FPS, and we can clip through the ground over here, you can see, and we're going to fall down. So now we're going to rifle jump our way over to this wall, and we can slide along it in order to get towards the bridge. So now this chapter is one of the scariest ones. It's a very tricky boss fight, mainly due to the amount of enemies that can spawn in ahead of time. Since we're doing a speed run, we're trying to go as fast as possible and skip over enemies. So these ones are really important. You want to get these rifle jumps in order to make sure that you skip enemies spawning in. So just kill this guy out of the way. Hit this rifle jump here and continue rifle jumping along this bridge. So that first one is definitely important. Ideally, I'd want to get more. There we go. Here we go. Perfect. We got the ogre spawning in. That's totally fine. You can just
crowd expedition. Looks like they made camp here.
Rifle jump over this gap here and continue trying to outrun all these enemies that we're spawning in. There's going to be a lot of them once we get towards the boss fight, since we're just skipping over them, and this game just loves to spawn in enemies. So
The sanctuary.
we're going to try to get there as fast as possible. We want to break open this golden chest in order to power up our glove. And if we switch to press 1 to switch our glove power, let's press again. There we go. In the underhand, that's a little needler type gun. It's really good for this boss fight. We're going to click save here, and we're going to try to jump on this coffin. So this boss, if you get too close to it, it'll switch which part of the arena it is residing in. So you want to make sure that you stay far enough away from him so he doesn't move from where you're shooting him at, and then also you want to make sure there's the enemies aren't in the way here. So this coffin jump is difficult even to get up on here. I might just reload in a second here. So you can see how many enemies are in this boss fight. A safety strat would be to just turn around here, take out your fire glove instead of the needler weapon. So hard to get up on here, and sometimes you get too big of a boost. So you could just throw a big old fireball at them, get rid of a bunch of the enemies, and just worry about shooting it instead of the needler. But it is fast to use both because you're doing double DPS. But this is more of definitely a safety strat. It makes it so you have to worry about all these enemies piling up and so many of them hitting you, because I've died multiple times in this boss fight. But we're also just tapping our primary fire button for our gun. For these, this vampire SMG, if you actually, if you continue to tap it, you can, oh wow, you can avoid having to reload the gun itself. So you can just continue shooting infinitely. But you can see there, those enemies killed me. So I'm going to try to take some more out with fireballs. It can get really hectic in here. We even have some soldiers in here. Let's get rid of them. Okay, this should be a little bit more manageable now. Hopefully we don't die again, but we're at good health as long as we continue shooting and cross and get down pretty easily. So the fastest strat would be to just use the needler weapon with the SMG and just hope for the best. But this is definitely the safer strat to go for.
One step closer.
So, yep.
Closer to what?
Once we get that voice line, we know that it's over. So now we're just waiting for the exit level to end. Can skip through here. So yeah, that, as you can see, that level can get extremely hectic. I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but yeah, it is something.
But just to look, to understand how Zimmerman's experiments affect us all.
All right. Chapter 8. So we can just
What was
rifle
it
jump our
again?
way over here.
The dragon will take me
Wanna
on a ride to hell.
Clip through that area
I'm just
there.
about ready to believe that's no joke.
If you don't want to do a vertical,
let's
you
go
can
find him.
horizontal jump. You can just do a vertical one while you're right up against that. But let's do it that way.
A place of such great
Going to want to kill 2 of these enemies in order to level up our vampire power and use this glove to shoot that little piece of this wall here. You can break through that. And we're going to slip through this crack here and come to this area.
Are you getting all misty on me?
Now there's this little crusher here. We're going to want to run over to it, and while we're in the slowed state, when we get into 1 HP, we're going to want to run through
There must be some way to turn it off.
and make it through the other side. So right when we get to 1 HP, slow down, we're going to run through, continue running forward, potentially make it through. No, that's okay. You can try again. So you want to have enough HP where you can make it through that, but you don't want to go before you start getting slowed down necessarily. So let's... Might have too low HP here. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. We made it through. Okay. Now, just want to stay alive. Not get killed by these enemies. Save again. Okay. So that part is really tricky. You essentially just want to make it through that area before you die and get crushed. But yeah, it's very tight diving. We're gonna make our way over here. Jump along out of bounds. And run along this wall here. Once we get over to this side, we can start doing rifle jumps to make our way through this area. Switching to 30 FPS each time in order to perform them with ease. Make our way up these stairs. Continue following along this path.
Now the wind sings mournfully for them, for the lost, those who lived in the shadows.
Hit that checkpoint. Very important that you hit and run up to, because it opens up this gate.
There's no damn winds down here.
And we're gonna make our
This
way
place is a
over
tomb.
to that gate.
Perhaps you cannot sense it as I can.
And we're going to want to run and jump, crouch into this little corner. Oh, I guess we can go up too, but not what we're trying to do. Jump between this gap here. Can be tricky. Looks like we're caught on some enemies, but that's why I usually save before I attempt this, because if you do it before, if you don't do it fast enough and these enemies start piling up, it's pretty difficult to get through. But you're just want to get through this gap, run and trigger this cutscene, and skip on over to the next level.
November the 3rd, 1916. At first, I couldn't believe
Chapter 9 is where we get to start doing some flying missions. So this game, the vehicle is a dragon. So we gotta fly our way through hell
Face the end of all
on a dragon. What is better than that?
Millennia ago, as your species would reckon the passing of time, the demons struck in darkness.
So we're just gonna fly along this path here.
All of my fire drake kindred. Now your
Take out
people,
these little
your
electric
world
things
face the
to
same
open up the gate.
The threat of
So
total
we're gonna take out this one here, turn
The walls
around,
and barriers between the underworld and the domain
and
of hell
go over
are
to this
broken.
one to destroy it.
The
You could also
demons
go
want to
along the
rule
other
all
way,
existence.
but I
They
don't know
seek
which
to
way is
try to
faster. It
keep
seems
me
like this
out.
way,
That's
going
not
back
gonna
around is
cut it.
faster, but
Yeah.
it might be about the same.
Focus, Shadow Warrior. Mephisto's legions are commanded by demon warlords, and they must be struck down before we can kill the Lord of Hell.
Not a problem. Just
Make
show
our
me
way
where these
along
bastards
here.
are
We're gonna
hiding,
kill
sis.
this middle
Another
top one
damn
first,
trapdoor.
and then this
I will
giant
unleash
one is
the
gonna
fires of hell
be killable.
upon them.
We're already
And
there.
it'll open up that gate. Here, we're just gonna wanna not touch anything. You can get soft locked here, so you don't switch your FPS. But now, once we land, we can switch and start doing rifle jumps to get over to this hallway. I'm gonna pick up this ammo and then kill these two enemies with our melee in order to power up our glove. And once we have that powered up, we're gonna switch to the needler option. Save here, and we're gonna jump up and over so we can land over here and start taking out these pylons. So each of these require 4 in order to get destroyed. You can also use your machine gun, but taking a little damage here, it's okay. A little slow-mo effect. Let's just try to jump over. Okay. So once we destroy those, I'm gonna shoot these for some health, because these enemies do a lot of damage, as you can see, super scary. And we continue walking. Normally I would rifle jump, but against these enemies, they actually have so much pushback with their guns that you can just get negative distance if you try to rifle jump in their face, because they'll just shoot you and push you back in the opposite direction you're trying to go. But after we get back to our dragon, we're just going to continue making our way throughout the level. Killing some dragons along the way just for some health. Are all these even dragons? They don't look like dragons. They have legs. I don't know what they are. So just continue making our way throughout the level.
Yeah, get some!
Feel the fires of my fury.
You are damned! You don't give me a
Continue
choice.
just flying along this path. We're essentially
you can
just
try to
flying
stop
our
me,
way
but
towards
you
the
gotta do
end
better
of
than
the
that.
level. We're gonna get out of the dragon and actually run along these rocks here on top of this building and get out of bounds. So I'm gonna want to park around this little yellow spotlight, and it'll automatically drop us out. And then we can rifle jump over to this side of the building. I'm gonna save, and you can sometimes jump and get all the way up to the top that way, but if not, you can just run to the left here. Keep on running, get some heights, and then continue moving our way towards the right to get on top of this building. You can see it below us, so we have plenty of height to land over here. I'm going to click save, and we're going to drop down on top of this area out of bounds. Going to aim in this general direction, switch to 30 FPS, and do a long rifle jump. Land on top of here, and the end of the trigger is somewhere over here. So we're just going to run along this cave, continue jumping and running along, and as soon as you reach a point, it'll say mission completed.
December 11th, 1916. The gas scares me. We used it more than we had to, and we're choking on it now.
All right,
Kiefer says we
on to
don't
chapter
run out of
10, so
supplies.
let's just get right into it. This is going to be another dragon level. And here we have a boss fight against an enemy named Azazel.
I can smell demon blood. This is Azazel's domain. He is a powerful warrior.
This is going to be a two-phase boss fight. The first phase is going to be fighting him on our dragon, and the second phase is going to be us fighting him just normally with our guns. So for this first phase, we're going to try to get him stuck in a specific area, doing an attack, and hopefully we'll be able to stay in that area without getting damaged too much, and just consistently spray fire onto Azazel in order to kill him. So we're going to save here in the beginning, see where he goes. He's going towards the right, so we're going to go into the cubby over here on the right. And there we go. So he's going to continue doing this attack. These enemies are going to try to shoot us as well. So hopefully we can just continue loading into Azazel, and these other enemies don't kill us before we can kill him. So the objective is just going to spray and pray, kind of hope that his health goes down faster than ours does. And there we go. So that's the end of the first phase. For the second phase, where we're gonna spawn in, we're just gonna want to rifle jump away over to him. You can also walk, but you know, rifle jumping is faster here. We're gonna take out our vampire shotgun, this one right here, and grab this health before we get started. Jump on this little trampoline, and we're going to want to just melee and shoot him with our shotgun. So we're just going to continue jumping up towards him while meleeing and shooting him. And hopefully just tank a bunch of damage from these enemies and kill him before we get down to 1 HP. If we do get down, we can just run around the arena and destroy those little bases that contain health. So it looks like we might be fine here. There we are.
You're beaten, pretty boy. How does defeat taste? I can't be stopped. You hear me? No demon.
So those
no
bases right
monster,
here,
no enemy
you
has
see
the
those
strength.
on the left
Who's gonna
side?
be the next to die?
There's 4 of them in this picture here. Those are the ones that we want to destroy for health. Those red orbs are all health.
Devil King, the Lord of the Flies, Mephisto.
So if you need to, just take a break from jumping on that little trampoline and grab some health if you need it. Just quit breaking it open and running over to it. Alright, chapter 11, the second last level of the game. We're going to turn around immediately and start running up the hill behind us.
One final battle before the last duel.
We're going to run over here and run along this wall to get up out of bounds. And then we're going to do a rifle jump in this area here to jump over this wall. And come over onto this wall and run up it. We're going to come over to this wall here, continue to run along it. And to get to this area, you can start running up. Oh. Almost. Oh, we're going to want to turn back around here, wait for our stamina refill, try to run up again. Almost got it. No problem. This one can be a bit tricky, so. There we are. So we're going to run up here, come along this wall here, rifle jump upwards, do it again facing the other direction, and one more time facing this direction. Once we're up here, we're going to look in this direction, save, and then perform a horizontal rifle jump. And we got a vertical one, no problem. We can just try again. Timing is tight on these ones, so take multiple attempts, but we want to get up here and get to the end over here. Oh, I think we passed. Okay, we're good. So that's the end of the second last level, and here we are going to fight the Devil King. So right away, we're going to start running, and we're going to perform a rifle jump in order to... Oh, messed up my direction. In order to jump over here and land and interact with this mech to jump into it. Run along this way and break open this door, where we can start our boss fight with Mephisto. What is his name? Mephisto? Manifesto? I don't know. The Devil King. And we're just going to, in this phase, just continue to use our primary fire and just aim at his chest. Continue rocking back and forth, dodging his fireballs. We can also get some power-ups when we kill enemies or when the enemies run into us. So we use our alternate fire once we have that available, just for some extra DPS. But for this phase, we're going to stay completely in our mech. This is the only one that we're going to use the mech. For the rest of them, we're just going to exit the mech immediately and just continue using our guns. So for now, I'm just going to spray into it while kind of walking side to side. And just wait for the second phase of the fight here. I'm going to transition to another part of the arena. So you want to make sure you just stay in your mech until the transition happens, or else you can kind of get caught in the area that you're in currently. So it's going to continue firing. And here we are switching to the next phase of the fight. We're going to get out of our mech by clicking F. And then take out a vampire shotgun. And then continue meleeing and using our fireball when we have it. So I'm just literally clicking both mouse buttons at the same time. Just keep on spamming them. and just stand under this boss here. It is so much faster doing this fight out of the mech than in the mech.
Get back
There we
here
go.
and
We
face me, you
finished the
cheating
second
coward.
phase. Now we're just going to get transported to the third phase area, and we're going to continue doing the same thing until we run out of vampire SMG or shotgun ammo. Then we'll switch to our SMG. So it's going to continue meleeing, shooting again. Alright, we're going to switch to our SMG. And continue unloading in him. You can see there we skipped having to reload with the SMG because we were just spamming, so it's nice. It doesn't always happen like there, but it's nice when it does. Continue doing this until the boss is dead. Should be dead here shortly. There we go. And that is NecroVision 1. 90% speedrun. So that was just a quick walkthrough of, you know, how the run is performed. I just kind of wanted to explain things for anyone else that wanted to give this run a shot. Please use Astrid's guide for NecroVision Lost Company as, you know, a supplement to learning this game, because it has information about how rifle jumps are performed, how you use rear tuner, things like that. So
Where am I?
make sure you check that out as well.
Am I home?
But yeah, that was NecroVision 1. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you have any questions, I'm going to link the Discord down in the description, so feel free to hop in there and ask around if you have any questions about the run.